have you been in the entrepreneurial world?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I think I was in the game since for the past maybe 20 years or so, this could be my 21st year. If I minus the COVID year, then it could be my 20th year. Because
Okay.
that has been, so yeah, I've been throughout that journey, I've been going through for all those years, yeah, I should say so.
How has that journey been?
Well, it's been very interesting journey, but also very challenging, and where you have to experience some short, falls, and at the same time you have to climb high into the mountains. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's something that I think I found it very exciting. And so far, I would say that when I look back, like somebody said, that for you to measure the growth in business, it's that when you look back, you find that in the following year, you're not in the same place that you were the previous year. So for me, that is what I could define my journey all these years that I've been in business.
What made you decide to take, I believe you're an employee before, and you decided to change your life path and become an entrepreneur. What made you take that decision?
Yeah, I still remember that was in the year 2000, and I was working for Discovery Health in the billing section, and I was just sitting there and thinking, am I going to be here for how long? And shouldn't I do something for myself? And I just left, just like that, and resigned, quit the job, and went to do the registration of the company, but with the sole purpose that I just want to assist small businesses. I just want to assist those who are out there who says, I want to go into business, and now I want to close that gap and be able to show them how they can do it and show them how they can do it best. And yeah, with business management background in terms of studies, that assisted me to be able to launch properly and to be able to build my own kind of database in terms of small businesses, which I'm still in touch with even today. Some of them that I assisted in the year 2000, and some of them have grown into big corporate, which I'm happy about it. And we still have coffee or we still have tea together and still share the moments together. So yeah, that I would say that's how far the journey has gone. And here I am, certified business advisor with Institute of Business Advisors Southern Africa, which is something that when I started, I never thought that I would get to that point. But here I am today, and that's where I am.
Wow, that is such an interesting journey that you've had and continue to have. Do you think that anyone can become an entrepreneur?
Anyone that has got an idea and has got a product and is got something to sell, then can become an entrepreneur. Because we need to understand that being an entrepreneur, it's about innovation, it's about coming up with new ways of doing things, but also it's about replicating what is already done out there. And when you are replicating, it's more about solving a problem that you have identified, and that makes you an entrepreneur. But I believe that as individuals, as human beings, our mandate is to solve problems. That's why we exist. And everybody has sort of a push or a pressure to solve a problem. It's just that some decide that, in order to solve this problem, let me partner with somebody and become an employee and solve the problem. Some, they don't have resources to start their own business. But at the end of the day, you give anybody an opportunity, I believe that they can rise up and become successful entrepreneurs.
Why, when you think, is it so difficult for entrepreneurs that are already running their own businesses, whether they're new or old businesses? Why is it so difficult for them to get onto the growth phase of their businesses?
I think getting into growth phase, not faith, when it comes to business, it has to do with what kind of support do you anticipate or do you look for? Some, they would start a business. I think today I did address the similar thing to say that there are people that when you approach them and say, listen, I think you need assistance here. And some, they will just give you a cold shoulder and say, I know. Once you say I know, it means that you're not ready to be assisted. But as an entrepreneur, when you start, it's better to avail yourself to say, I'm teachable and I'm flexible and you can teach me or show me. Even if you know, keep it to yourself. Allow information to come your way. So yes, through business advisory, through any other support that you can get in society, I believe that small businesses can grow and can experience growth. Yes, you can have all the money, but without that kind of support that you need, you can lose the money in business. It's a game. It's a tough game out there. It's very kind of challenging. So it's very important to understand that for you to grow, in as much as you have everything in place, but also I need to say this, that you also need to make sure that you have all your documents in place, because you don't want to realize when you are about to have a bigger opportunity and they ask you about a simple thing to say, what is your tax number? Or have you registered your business? And you find that you haven't done that. That can impede your growth in business.
Okay, so you've actually just touched on what I wanted to ask you. In terms of what is the importance of compliance in a business?
Compliance is very important, and important in the sense that there are some situations or some opportunities that you can miss because you don't have a certain document. Some of the companies, just imagine, some of them, to an extent, you'll find that you can miss an opportunity because you don't have a board of directors. Because imagine 20 people or 15 people that must sit in the board to decide about your business and decide to give you a deal that is worth 10 million. But when they look at your structure, you don't even have any, you are just alone, one person. And now they are thinking, what's going to happen if you pass away? Would we have the opportunity or something like that? So it's very important to understand that as an entrepreneur, you have to have compliance in place. Find out at what stage is your business and what is it that you need when you're at that stage. Don't hold on to being a startup, even when your business or you have reached a level where you would need to consult with lawyers, you need to have an accounting firm to be responsible for your businesses, but you still consult at a lower level. So you have to look at that and say, where I am now, it means that for me to move to the next level, I need to also check my compliance when it comes to business growth.
So I think you are touching on what you had touched on before as well, in terms of having a mindset of growth. So if you are willing to learn and expand, you'll be able to actually start growing your business the way it should be.
That's very true.
In your experience, do you believe that policies are favorable for small businesses?
That's very interesting, and something that I have to be very careful because I still want to do business with government. But frankly, I believe that much can be done for small businesses. I believe that bigger opportunities can be created for small businesses. I believe that not individuals, not a particular sector of society can benefit. I believe that not only when you belong to any political party you can benefit, but anybody who is an entrepreneur out there can still benefit. And I believe that much can be done in terms of reaching out to communities, community businesses that are there, in the rural areas, in your townships. I believe that there is much that can be done in terms of funding, in terms of showing support to these businesses and to allow them to grow, but also to allow the retailers in the townships and to make it some form of regulations where these retailers can source the products from the townships without even having to think about the truck that can drive through the tiny streets that have potholes, by the way, and deliver some products. The locals can just use their local transport just to take the stock there, and then we grow the economy together.
So I think you are referring to the township economy, the revitalization thereof.
I would say so, because if you look in most of the townships, we have a lot of hubs, economic hubs that were built there. Mm-hmm. But today, when you look at those hubs, you'll find that the only thing that exists there is a mechanic and who is fixing cars there, and the yard is full of cars. But that is not necessarily creating opportunities, because it can be two people that are working on those cars. But if they were allowed to continue to be manufacturing plants for maybe your fish or anything that you can manufacture there, you just think of one factory can have maybe 300 jobs, and that are community-based, without traveling to the workplace. So these are the things that we can think along in terms of developing the policies that can sort of favor small businesses.
You did mention that you are a certified business advisor with the Institute of Business Advisors South Africa. What kind of businesses do you offer advice to?
Well, business is a business. Any business, I can offer advice to a business that is, with a turnover of billions and all that. But as we understand that, also the businesses that you have to approach, you need to look at your capacity also and say, if they were to give you an assignment, can you deliver on that? So based on that, for me, is to look at SMEs that I'm working with. And yeah, in terms of big corporate, yes, somebody can tap the idea or the thinking, but it may not necessarily for me to say I'm looking for opportunities there, because I know that if they say, look, we need to, because when you look at advisory, you look at a lot of institutes like banks and all that, they are still advisory services, and they kind of invoice based on that. But in that case, you need to have a team of advisors that you work with. But in this case, because of the capacity, I focus on SMEs, I focus on SMMEs, I focus on small businesses. And yeah, at that point, I see a huge need and demand for that, and a huge growth in terms of those small businesses becoming big corporate.
So it's clear that these small businesses are in good hands when it comes to growing or being on getting the support of being on a growth trajectory.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. How are your business advisory services structured?
Well, we do have, as depending on how you want an advice, it can be one-off advice where we can have a session. Fortunately enough, now we don't have to drive around. We can just have a Zoom session where we have one-on-one. That will be advising you on any issue that you would need at that particular moment. And also we do have 3 months, 6 months, 12 month sessions. We can have 2-year sessions, depending on what do we find based on the assessment and evaluation of your business. And if there is a need to help you in a longer term, and that's what we offer. And yeah, so far that's how our programs are structured. In terms of fees, yes, we do have fees that, really, this is the full-time job. So you would expect that, yeah. But based on its assessment and evaluation, then we can determine what could be the actual value that we can put into business.
Do you only offer business advice to local companies or South African companies or African companies? Or do you also offer advice to international companies, or maybe, let's say, international companies that want to start doing business in South Africa?
We do offer advice to South African businesses the most, because they know us, they trust us and all that. But also we do have inquiries from the international level where somebody says, in that case, obviously, that person or that company, it will be about how do I start business in South Africa? How do I go about? So we do provide that information, but also do consulting for those businesses and see how we can assist them to be to have either their wing in South Africa or their branch in South Africa, or to register a new company in South Africa. We do assist with that process, and we have assisted a number of companies so far. And yeah, they are happy with the services, and we are looking forward to assisting a lot, because South Africa is open for business and Africa is open for business.
You did mention that this is a business for you, and obviously this is how you put bread on the table. But now, do you have any pro bono services in your organization?
Yes, we do have pro bono, and I would say that over the years, because we have been providing pro bono for a number of companies, then it was decided upon to say, you know what, maybe let me start a Mentors Without Borders NPC that would offer pro bono, but also that will invite other corporate or other partners that can come and partner with us to offer mentorship for free to small businesses, but also that would require some form of funding. And in that case, we have opened up our arms to say through our platform, Mentors wb.org, where we say you can partner with us and work with us, and then we do offer the pro bono services. And from that platform, we are able to also raise some funds where we can also hire other mentors that can come on board and assist in terms of mentoring small businesses.
What is your stance on collaboration?
I'm a strong fan of collaboration, I must say, because I believe that for every business to grow, we need to work together, we need to work as a team, but also we need to partner and see how we can share experience, how we can share in terms of working together. And that has led me to create a Recharge My Biz app, which is found at Google Play. We are working on also having it on Apple. The platform, it's where a lot of business advisors are found, where we have put together different experts and who can advise on any business related issue. So for me, that's where collaboration has come up with, and that is what I believe when it comes to collaboration. And yes, I would encourage every business to look at which business can you partner with, which business can you work with, so that you can collaborate, share ideas, share information, not collude, but collaborate.
On that note, do you collaborate with other entrepreneurs in your space?
I do a lot. I've got a lot of them that I'm working with. If I need something, I know who can I call. I know which accountant to speak to. I know which lawyer to speak to. But also, like I said, that in our platform, Recharge My Biz app, we are able to kind of work with other entrepreneurs, and we are able to collaborate with them and see how we can work together. So yeah, it's a great platform that has taught me a lot of things that, you know what, when you work with people and you have to also, but also on a personal level, I believe that collaboration works better because you are able to share your vision, your ideas, and you are able to speak to anybody and say, listen, what do you think about this? Because most of the small business, you don't have a board. So you need the team of people around you that you can work with and engage with.
In your experience, what would you say is actually prohibiting entrepreneurs from wanting to collaborate? We don't find a lot of collaboration in small businesses as for a start. And also, you'll find that when one talks about collaboration, they tend to shy away from it. What do you think is causing that?
Well, I think from what I've experienced is that some they are afraid to share their ideas with others. Some they fear that they will steal their ideas. Some they fear exploitation from others, because I can come to you and say, let's collaborate, but I know my intention is not collaboration, but it's to steal your business. Or my intention is just to rob you, or my intention. So some of the people are holding back based on what they have experienced in the past. So what I would say is that most of the entrepreneurs, the fear is based on, I don't want to lose my business. I don't want to lose control of my business. But hey, before you can enter into collaboration, you need to have some memorandum of understanding between the parties to say, how can we work together? How can we team up? But on what basis? What are the terms and conditions that we put up for us to team up and work together? That way, you will allay a lot of fears, because your MOU will address the issues that you may have or the concerns that you may have in some form of collaboration. You need to understand that MOU is not like you are now signing a contract, but it's a memorandum of understanding to say the two of us, this is how we can work together.
That is very important, what you just brought up, in terms of being on the same page as people that are going to work together.
Exactly.
I'd like us to touch on a very popular topic when it comes to entrepreneurship. Most of the time when you try and find out what is stopping an entrepreneur from starting their business, they will tell you about funding. Now, what do you think most entrepreneurs, first of all, want to start their businesses with funding and not start with what they have? And what could be a solution to the funding challenges that small businesses are facing every day?
Yeah, the question, yes, it's very popular, and thank you for saying popular, because I thought it would say sensitive. so that I'm careful in responding to it. The challenge of funding, I would say that in most cases, it's what a lot of small businesses will talk about. But what I found out as an entrepreneur and an advisor to small businesses is you find a small business owner say to you, I'm looking for funding. And then you sit down with them and say, how much are you looking for? And he says, I don't know. So for me, before we can say we are looking for funding, or maybe voice out and say we are not getting opportunities, we are not getting funding, as small business, let's first understand or identify what kind of funding are we looking for. And also, it is very important to also be able to define and say, when I talk about funding, am I looking for venture capitalist? Am I looking for angel investor? Or am I looking for loan from the bank or from any other institution? So these are the things that when it comes to funding, we have to talk about. But now, in terms of the challenges that, yes, there are challenges because the institute may not trust much in terms of small businesses because you don't have a track record. You can't prove that you've been in business. You can't prove that you can pay back the loan. So these are some of the challenges that you'll find that they are happening. But yes, those being the challenges, I know that governments tried in the past and even now to even serve as a guarantor for small businesses and say, you know what, we're going to pay 80%, you give 20%, or we commit to kind of give a guarantee that, you know, if this small business doesn't pay back, we can pay. But also it's drying the state's coffers because some of these businesses do not make it out there. So yes, there are challenges, but at the same time, we have to look at from the government side to say, would it make sense to keep on pumping up money? The solution to the problem is for small businesses to come up with crowdfunding. I would say so, where they have to fund one another. I mean, if we are successful with stock first in our townships, if we are successful with stock first, and some of the banks, they've taken the concepts and they are using them, why can't we as small business come up with some structures? And on that note, I should say that already we are working on something big when it comes to that kind of funding, where we are looking at how can small businesses create their own funding system or processes where they can finance themselves, but also create savings in the process. So watch out for that. Wow. I think it's going to be launching soon, and it's going to be big, it's going to be great. So we are working on something along that line. Yes, we're going to comply, we're going to work on compliance, but yeah, we have to do something. We cannot fold arms and say, and also cry about government. Yeah, government, you promised us 200 billion and where is the money? Sometimes we have to understand that if we are all swimming together with the government, you can't expect rescue when we are all drowning. So we have to find a way to say, how can I carve my own small boat for me to reach the other side?